Trust me, folks, you don't want to be a landlord. It takes hours and hours every day. You get phone calls in the middle of the night. There's nothing you can avoid. Everybody turns into a slumlord. It's a complete waste of time and money. And of course, I jest. We have two gentlemen here. One that is financially free and retired, enjoying life. The other could be financially free, but he just loves the 9 to 5 grind. I got my boys, Matt, the lumberjack landlord, and Dion talk. How you doing, Dion?
I'm doing great. And you left out that there's an impending crash, so you don't want to be a landlord. I mean, if we're gonna join the doomers for a minute there, even in jest, we've got to include that.
Hasn't stopped their behavior. They're still shopping.
Oh, they're crazy. They're crazy. And Matt, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. Yes, I do love 9 to 5. What am I, a teller? Yes, I love my 8 to 6. I love it. I love it. Passion.
I love it. I love it. Well, someday you will join the dark side and leave that behind you, and we will all celebrate you. But Dion, I think people really don't understand that if you really focus on creating the infrastructure and processes, that being a landlord of even around 20 units is not a huge time suck. You can work a full-time job. And then Matt, obviously, he has over 100 units and is in big acquisition mode. But even that is not a huge time suck. I think there's just this talk track of tenants, toilets, termites. You can't do it. It's all the time. You get calls on Thanksgiving. You two self-manage. I do not. So it's a nice triumvirate here. So let's just talk about time and what it actually takes. Let's talk about 2022 for the year. You know, Dion, how much time did you spend in total in 2022 across your portfolio?
So the reason for this topic is this short. This short is less than 3 or 4 seconds.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go.
And that's not going to work.
I'm not that good at lip reading.
No volume. So 3 or 4 seconds, and all it says is I spend 2 hours a month managing my 16 rentals. That's it. It's a whole short, and it goes over. Right. So 5,000 views and tons of hate comments.
Yeah.
Hate.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking.
Legit.
You mean doing the work? It's hate in the social media world? No.
And it's funny. This is not the normal hate. Normal, it's landlords suck. Capitalism is the end of the world. Like, you guys are just horrible, evil people. This is, I believe, people who own rentals or want to own rentals saying it's absolutely impossible to manage rentals and only take a couple hours a month. And I agree when we're starting. Before we get our systems in place, before we develop that. And most people in real estate talk about their team. They talk about their lender and their agent and their property manager and their whatever. And to me, as a self-managing person, the only person really on my team, right? Because I've dated agents and lenders and everything. I married the properties, but my mistresses are my handymen. Those are the people that are actually taking the time to manage my rentals, right? The first time they interact with the tenant, I'm involved.
Yes.
And I have handymen that I've vetted over years, and I know their personalities. And usually one interaction is enough to say, okay, they're comfortable with each other now. Now I just sit back and I will occasionally watch an email or a text between the tenant and the handyman.
Okay.
But that first year, so maybe the second year, it felt like it took 20 hours a week to manage one rental.
Yeah. Right.
So I get that when you're starting out, it seems impossible. You know, you have somebody calls and their refrigerator goes out. Yeah, I'd call day before yesterday, refrigerator's going out. So it's like the 4th one this year. I don't understand. All my water heaters are going out. All my refrigerators are going out. But to be fair, I purchased some of these rentals that had refrigerators that were in there since I was born.
Right? Yes, since you were born. They don't last.
They're
forever,
the old
Dion.
yellow 70s, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with this. But I opened the Lowe's app.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I go to the Lowe's app. This date, this delivery, put the $40 for the haul away of the old one. So that maybe took 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send another text to the tenant saying, here's the delivery date.
Reminder. Yep.
Text in, app out, text out. Not even 10 minutes to handle something that when you're new, a refrigerator, you're like, oh, I've got to get this delivered. I'm gonna go borrow a truck. I'm gonna find somebody. I'm gonna rent a truck. It's just this cascading spiral of, you have to figure out where to get the refrigerator. So once you've decided that decision's made. Now it's literally, okay, currently, what do they have in stock? And that's my choices.
Yeah.
So I understand. It's an evolving process that gets, if you're doing it right, better and better and better over time.
Yeah. Man, I want to go to you, and I want to X out rehabs, remodels, heavy lifts.
Yeah.
Just talk about, 100 tenants. Again,
Yeah.
you self-manage
Yep.
over 100 tenants.
Yep.
Some Section 8, some cash. So again, it's a bigger kind of lift. So
Yep.
when you look at your commitment, again, X remodels, X
Sure.
all of that, what do you think you spend a month or a week, however you calculate it?
It's not much. It's not much. Majority of what we do is a majority. Like I'd say, so one of the things I was talking to Dion about was I said, my goal being 8X the size portfolio is to spend 16 hours. Can I get under that 16 hours, even self-managing like Dion does, but with that volume, can I get into that number? As I'm running the numbers, I'm actually kind of firmly convinced I can. I think that I can show Dion a new level of lazy, which I'm super excited to do. But that's where I think it is. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is that when you have those systems in place, I mean, I would be spending 80 hours a week. Most people act like they don't understand how I do it all. Right. Because they're judging it based on their experience.
Yeah.
I am elite at what I do. That's why I have a course. That's why I get paid to teach it. And that's what makes people that much better. That's what allows them to go from 2, 3, 4 to 15 to 18 to 20 to 50. We had some people in the course that had 70 units.
Yeah.
They will get bigger and they will get bigger a lot faster. And he's even said, Matt, for him, he's saving $5,000 a month based on having taken the course. $5,000 a month. So what I really think what people need to focus on is, yes, onboarding a project, absolutely onboarding a new asset, but that gets faster, that gets better when you have systems and processes in place like what we teach. And then all the documentation that I use, like it just becomes just really, really easy. Like we onboarded a property, I think 70 days ago. I spent 6 hours onboarding it, boom, done, tenants, rehab, all ready, and we're done because it was a lipstick rehab. So again, a few hours and done. And so I think that people look through it through their own glasses. And I think that's the challenge is that they don't have systems and processes and all these things in place. And everything ends up being a one-off activity. And when that happens, you're going to burn a ton of time that you just don't need to burn.
Yeah. So I'll kind of peel this together with somebody who has property management and about the same size as Matt. So what does our time look like now? Why can we travel? Why can we spend a month in Southeast Asia? Why can we just drop a hat and spend 3 weeks somewhere else? We have a Friday call at 10 o'clock for 30 minutes. We go over a set of reports. We get daily updates on collections and other things. And if we have questions, we can ask. Complete systems. I haven't been in a property in 5 years, maybe 6. We're probably spending, so 30 minutes times 4, let's call it an extra hour a week on looking at the reports. So let's call it 2. Yeah. So it's like 8, 10 hours a month.
Yeah.
But it's because we didn't start there, right? I mean, we had 2 houses, we'd spend, 10 hours a week trying to figure all this stuff out.
Sure.
But as you get through it, as you figure out where the exceptions are, it just gets much more efficient. And again, I think there are 3 things I want to highlight. 1, finding the deal. I will still say that even after 22 years, I spend more time a week finding a deal. We spend 2 hours a week managing the portfolio. I probably spend 8 hours a week looking for the next deal. That never stops. 2, onboarding an asset. That does take time. We'll get more efficient. I think you get standard. Like now I have standard paint, standard this, standard that. But every house has a different layout. Sometimes windows are different. But again, as much standard as I can in outside paint, inside paint, all of those things. That takes more time, but that should be fun. That's the creative stuff. But even that gets quicker. The operational being a landlord, like Matt says, oh, blank, you're a landlord. You will wring out time. So it's not shocking to me, Dion, that you spend 2 hours. It's not shocking to me, Matt, that even with a portfolio 9x the size, you're at sub 20 hours.
Yeah.
If you have property managers, it should get easier.
Yeah.
Except finding and onboarding a new asset. So Matt, we'll go back to you. Any kind of closing thoughts?
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, it's just like anything. You can figure it out on your own, go through all the trials and tribulations yourself, have all the big expensive lessons, to have it take you a half a decade to a decade to get on the right path, or you can pay and accelerate it all. That's the option. You pay and accelerate it all. You spend a couple $1,000 on courses, and all of a sudden you manage things the same way that everybody else does. I wish I knew I wish there were courses like that available when I was starting out, because it would have saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because now it's not just the $5,000 that a 60 unit or 70 unit landlord finds, but it's the $1,000 a month that a 3-unit, 4-unit landlord finds. Now that multiplies to 12,000 a year and then continues to go up with inflation. And then it's like, you look at the one decision to skill up and take the right course, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars over the time of your journey. I don't know that there's any, we had people in the class that had never bought anything before. And they're like, I am not afraid anymore. I totally know what I'm going to do. I am ready. And this is what we talk about. This is the stuff that people have to get done.
Awesome. Dion, closing thoughts and what time and where to find this live stream?
So what I really like is all of us kind of talked about in the beginning, not only the mistakes, but how we tried to handle most of it ourselves.
Yeah.
The quote, treat your properties like you have 100 and your tenants like you have 1, comes from what you were saying. Once you have 100 properties, it doesn't make sense for you to deliver a refrigerator. It doesn't make sense for you to go talk to a tenant. It can be handled with an email or a text or through the handyman or through a property manager. So that first or second rental, start thinking, if I had 100 of these, would I be the one going to do this? Could you do it 100 times? No. You think you can because you only have 1 or 2 rentals. And then you're going to wonder why it takes you 10 or 20 hours a week to own properties.
Yeah.
And you can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, 4 p.m. Pacific. On Tuesdays, I do a live stream. And this week it's on time management because people obviously don't believe I can do this in 2 hours a month.
You'll probably spend more time on the live than you will managing.
He will.
Now, if we add YouTube to it, this becomes a lot more time.
Different story. There you go. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for all you do. Take care.